Hello and welcome to another episode of Finger Guns with Tony, Dave, and James. I am your co-host, Dave Baldwin, and here I am with...
Tony Baldwin.
And...
James Amatuzio.
And we're going to just jump right into it this week. We're going to talk about hot dogs.
We got a lot to cover.
So much to cover.
Got a lot to cover.
Hot Dogs is wrapping up this weekend.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And we've seen a couple of good ones. There's a few of them that all three of us have seen, and then there's a couple that only two of us have seen, and then a couple that only one of us have seen. So it's going to be we're going to go through the ones that we've all seen.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I like that. That sounds like a really good plan.
Let's do it.
Hit me, James. What do we all see?
Yeah, let's start with. You know what? No, I gotta break this up because some of them are just not fun. Let's start with Second Chance.
Second Chance.
Let's start with Second Chance.
Tell me what Second Chance is.
So Second Chance, we're talking about it's kind of about two things. I guess the Second Chance bit comes at the very end, but mainly it's a documentary following a gentleman who, after being involved in a shootout with someone who tried to rob him, decided to open up a bulletproof vest company, and his big claim to fame was he would always test them on himself, so he would fire large caliber weapons at his own chest at point blank range, and then and that was his if I would wear it, sort of you would wear it thing. And it was very oh yeah, okay, you're putting your money where your mouth is. And he was the first one in the game for bulletproof vests, and especially light bulletproof vests that weren't heavy pieces of steel that you're wearing,
something you could casually wear and not make it obvious that you're sitting there with a vest on.
Exactly. And then the rest of it is following that company's rise, him as a person, and he is a unique character.
Yes, I would say unique is a good word.
Very unique character.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And he was a filmmaker at some point as well.
Yeah, and shooting some real high propaganda films.
Yeah, I liked his propaganda. It was
It was well crafted. I enjoyed watching it.
You enjoyed watching the film or the propaganda?
The propaganda, it's just colorful propaganda.
I like when he's doing the reenactment of how his shootout went.
Right.
Yeah, that one.
It's much more elaborate than what
may have actually happened. Yeah.
Melissa came in on that. I was watching it on my own, and Melissa came in and saw that scene. She's like, "What the fuck are you watching?"
Yeah.
It was an interesting way to frame the way that he sees the world as well. Talking about his dad who came back from the war and was dead silent and wouldn't talk about the war sort of thing. And then, but he was all gung ho, even though he was never in a war. Right? He was just all for it.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Rah rah. And
war!
then when he started his company, he found these police officers that were saved by his vests, and then he would shoot reenactments of what happened and how they were saved, and Then following that one former police officer, that I'm assuming that's where Second Chance came from in the first place, and how his recreation was nothing like what actually happened, and the cop didn't kill the guy. He saw a gun, he fired immediately, and then the guy went down, and he went down because he got shot too in the chest, and that was it. The confrontation was over, and guy got arrested, and yada yada. But Mr. Bulletproof Vest guy was nope, that's not what we're doing the reenactment. You're gonna fucking execute this man.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you gotta make it more exciting. That doesn't sound like an interesting story at all. He's got to sell these fucking things.
He is a salesman.
He's a salesman.
Sure.
It's a sales pitch, man.
Showmanship.
But that was also followed up with his view of, if you try to kill a police officer, you should be executed.
Yes.
You should be dead and buried. It doesn't matter. Even if you don't succeed in killing the cop, you need to die now.
Yeah. Well, he had some strong views.
Yeah, he was very...
Some strong views.
He was very opinionated. Like you said, he is a unique character, and I think it was very interesting to watch him interview, and how he's very off the cuff, and... It's very no nonsense. He's this is who the guy is. This is not a Hollywood portrayal of this guy.
Yeah.
This is who this guy is.
Yeah.
And I don't think he self-incriminates himself, or he incriminates himself, but
yeah,
He's very careful on the words that he uses. Like I thought that was
a couple of times.
A couple of times. And other times I'm just like, dude, why are you
oh,
talking? Like, please stop it now.
Yeah.
Stop. But I did like the stuff with the other cop, with that cop you were just speaking about, and I did love that ending where they brought him back together with his the man who shot him.
Yeah.
And they're like two completely
really
different people now.
Yeah.
And they're apologizing to each other, and it's beautiful.
Well, even that
emotional.
Yeah, even that interview with the guy I was surprised that they interviewed the guy who actually shot him and stuff, and like seeing him break down and showing remorse, like.
Well, and that's what it is. Right?
That's
like
crazy.
it's that to me. It's what that cop was saying, and like what Mr. Bulletproof Vest was saying about how he should have been executed, sort of thing, and like how that cop in his own department got a lot of flack for not killing the guy.
Yeah,
and like how because it made more paperwork, which is also absolutely fucked.
Cry me a river.
Yeah.
So having that, and then seeing the life that this gentleman was able to make at the end. Yeah, it's a feel good story. He didn't end up falling back into a life of crime. It set him on the right path. Yeah. It's a hunky dory roses story, but it is a story that is very powerful. Like he made a decision. He de-escalated the situation. He didn't take the other cop's preferred route of
he didn't.
Killing the guy for shooting him once in a bulletproof vest, and like the guy turned his life around. Like if we want to talk about like how policing should work, that's probably the best outcome given the situation that happened.
Exactly.
Like,
like it's not in all roses. Like he served his time and he turned it around.
Yeah.
And it's really heartwarming and kind of bittersweet to see them like embracing and crying and saying they're sorry.
Yeah.
Like showing them remorse, like Tony said, and based like in complete contrast to the rest of the movie that's very much rah police, rah kill the cop killers.
Yeah.
And then like the bit with the soldier who died because he had the shitty they started making shittier vests.
Yeah.
And like how the downfall, and it's a wild story.
Yeah.
And the director Raman Bharani, he also did The White Tiger last year, which I enjoyed for the most part. And he also did another one called 99 Homes with Michael Shannon and Andrew Garfield, which is also quite a riveting picture. So it was interesting to see him take on a documentary. I'm not sure if he's done documentary before, but I liked how he framed it as like a suspense thriller and kind of like more of a narrative. I always like when a documentary feels more narrative than just here's the subject, here's what happened.
Right.
Here's him talking about it.
Sure.
Yeah. It's always interesting when they kind of make it more narrative. So I really like this one. I saw it at South by and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I liked it.
I really liked it too. I was the one part that just made me like really cringe is when he has like the revolver in his hands and he like points it backwards and fucking just shoots himself in the chest.
Yeah.
Like what the actual fuck?
Yeah. The close range part kind of worries me.
Also that long shot or the long take that he did where he like I guess he was just firing an empty gun at himself, and I was just like, man, this is like super. Like I was just expecting one of them to blow up, and he's just like sitting there just clicking this empty handgun into his own chest, and I'm like, what? Wow, what is happening?
Absolutely wild.
Also, maybe have like a shot from further away to tell me it works, because if I'm believing you and I'm going to war, chances are it's not going to be close up.
It's not going to be like
my
my
limited
chest.
knowledge of how weapons and bulletproof vests work. I feel like you should also have footage of you getting shot from far away, further away.
I'm agree. I completely agree with that.
Theoretically, it shouldn't matter though, because the most amount of speed and impact happens right away, and then everything subsequent distance it slows down more and has less and less of an impact.
Yeah, but if you're going to war, you're going to want to know that it okay, glad it works close range, but what about further out? What happens? Maybe close range is how it works better. Maybe further out, like
except for those other vests,
Yeah.
where it didn't matter.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
we
what
can
I'm
always.
saying.
I mean, we can always go out and try and see what works.
We'll get some Kevlar.
We got some Kevlar.
It can't be Kevlar. It has to be his fucking bulletproof
his fucking
vest.
thing.
Yeah.
And you need to buy an assault rifle and shoot me from the hill there. Which
No.
I'm a dad. I don't
We'll have
want
to
you
go
to
to
do
the
that
States.
to me.
We'll have to
We
go
can't-
to the
we can't
States.
do it
We
here.
can't do that.
I don't
there.
want you
Florida. Florida's a
will
nice
do it.
place. Yeah, Florida will do it.
I don't know if you should say nice. Anyways, we all liked it. Jimmy, give me the next one.
Let's do Kids in the Hall. Comedy punks.
Another one I saw at South by Southwest, and I loved.
Loved this one. This one is my favorite. I haven't really decided what my ranking is, but like this is way up there in
I
ones
would
that I
agree.
watched at Hot Dogs.
Yeah,
I
definitely
really,
right up there.
Really liked it.
So good.
It was interesting to see. There was, I don't know about you guys if you ever watched like the reruns that would air on TV.
I've seen segments, and I have seen Kids in the Hall Brain Candy, and I did not understand it when I saw it, so I'd love to see it again.
Yeah, I have not seen it, so
I have not seen it
I'd actually
either.
like to watch it.
Definitely
but like I
wanna
used
see
to
it.
watch the reruns because they would be on like Comedy Network from like 8 to 10 or some random nonsense, or throughout the day if I was
Now it's
homesick.
called CTV comedy.
Yeah, whatever. CTV Comedy can suck my giant mushroom head. I don't know.
Okay, let's not say things we can't
Apologies
take back.
to CTV comedy.
You can calm down
What is
with
that?
the
Bell
hyperbole.
Media? Fuck Bell Media.
You can calm down with the hyperbole.
Anyway,
Bell Media, this is not what we all feel about your company.
anyway, I have enjoyed the I enjoyed the show then, kind of. Like there were segments, and like I was watching this documentary, they showed a lot of clips from the show, and there were so many that I remember watching on TV way back. So I liked it from that angle, but there was so much more I didn't know. Like I didn't know that 2 of them got picked up for SNL. I didn't know Lauren was so heavily involved in getting the show off the ground.
Lauren
and
seems to be very involved with a lot of
a
things.
lot of things. I don't know how that
Seriously.
man is like. How is that man still trucking along? Like he's got his fingers in like 8,000 different pies.
When he goes, it's going to be a sad day for comedy.
Man, no
Seriously.
kidding. Yeah, so I didn't like know anything about their backstory at all. I just knew their comedy and their sketches.
Yeah.
So it was a really interesting look at like their dynamic, how they found each other, their rise through the show, their internal fallout, how it hasn't all been like sunny roses. It was, especially shooting Brain Candy, it was a fucked experience.
I really, really admired that they're talking smack about each other.
Yeah.
I really admired that it's all not just like, I love all of you. It's like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
him
And you
for
could tell
doing
when
this.
they were when they started to get through the fallout, like they started not holding back, and like,
Yeah.
they were really saying how they felt about the other person.
Yeah.
You don't normally see that in
Yeah.
those kind of documentaries. Everyone's just like, "Oh yeah, we fucking loved each other, and
Yeah.
everything all like hand jobs and all this
Yeah,
stuff."
yeah,
right?
Yeah. And
No,
like,
it definitely was not.
I admired that they actually let them go off the cuff and say what they felt.
Yeah.
And I liked that it got dark, and then it got light, and then it was dark again. And I liked that they didn't stay. They managed to track how they came about, what they did, their influence, how they like left,
Yep.
and then how they're starting to come back.
Come back around, yeah.
And they didn't spend too much time on any one topic.
No.
Like it's an hour and a half long, and I'm told that when it premieres on Amazon Prime, when it premieres on Prime Video,
Sure.
it's going to be in 2 parts, which I'm like,
Really?
Why?
I don't know why, but okay, sure. I think it might just be part of the new series.
I see.
Okay.
Like I think it might just be, they might just clip it as like episodes of the new series, because the new series is either starting or about to start.
I think it's
Okay.
about to start.
About to start, because they talk about it at the end of the doc.
Is it like a new like sketch
No,
show?
yeah,
Or is
yeah,
that-
yeah.
Oh, a
Yeah,
new sketch show.
It's
Okay.
Kids in the Hall is back.
The same show, it's
the
back.
new-
Oh shit! Okay.
It's just the new series
Yeah.
of them as old guys
Yeah.
doing their thing. But they were showing clips of it at the end.
Yeah, I remember seeing it at the end. Yeah.
I couldn't fucking believe that for every live taping they had the band there playing for everything. I was like, what the fuck? Every episode? You
Yeah.
didn't record any of this.
Yeah,
It was all
yeah,
just
yeah.
live.
Ridiculous.
And Mike Myers was pissed he didn't get
Oh,
into
yeah.
Kids in
Oh,
Hall.
the
That's
Mike
funny.
Myers bits were like amazing. I just love him talking and how like
Yeah.
he really wanted to be a part of Kids in the Hall, and then when it finally like they started getting like SNL, he's like, well, fuck. Like,
They did it.
that could
He
have
did
been
what he
me.
wanted to do.
Yeah. But, well, it's all worked out in the
It
end
all
for
worked
him.
out in the end,
But,
but, like-
it's weird hearing Mike Myers speak as Mike Myers
Yeah,
and not as a character.
Sure. Yeah.
Especially because And he has a new Netflix show which just came out, which apparently
all characters.
He's every character in the show.
Yeah,
That sounds like a triumph.
Yeah. It was just honestly, it was a really enjoyable hour-and-a-half documentary about a show that like I remember kind of, and I probably was too young for it then, and I think I want to watch it all again now. And
you're probably still too young for it now.
Probably. I wasn't a grunge punk in the 90s. I was just born. Like,
just watching it and seeing like the sketches and stuff. Like, I don't have memory of watching any Kids in the Hall, but like seeing the sketches and stuff, it like triggered something for me. I was like, wait, I think I've seen this. Like, this makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. And it was phenomenal. I had a blast watching it.
Yeah, it's really good. They brought a lot of good people to talk about it.
And and good talking cats outside of them, like Mike Myers, Eddie Izzard,
Lauren Ash from Superstar was in there.
Thank you.
Too.
Yep.
Yeah. Lauren Michaels.
Yeah.
It's just they bring together a lot of comedians that aren't necessarily completely relevant now.
Yeah, wasn't Eric McCormick was in there too?
Or are
the guy from Will and Grace, right?
Less relevant now, but would have been bigger in like the 90s and the 2000s type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Fred Armisen.
Fred
Armisen.
Like
Jay Baruchel.
Jay Baruchel. Janine Garofalo.
Yeah, she showed up. She showed up.
Like these are like pretty influential comedians talking about this little Canadian group.
Yeah. That made it. The little Canadian troupe that could.
That could. Yeah. And they're recording at the Rivoli, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
God bless the Rivoli.
Like, I don't know. Like, I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like their whole thing, too, about how they got to their show was just like, they just kept going. It didn't matter. Some days it didn't work. Some days it did.
Yeah.
And then when they had enough material, they just put it all together, and then it really worked.
Yeah. Good for them.
But enjoyable.
Enjoyable. I
top
really
tier.
enjoyed it. Yeah, top tier for sure.
Looking forward to watching the new show.
The new show? Yeah. And Brain Candy.
And Brain Candy.
Yeah. So you want to jump down into something?
Yeah, let's go darker.
A little, yeah.
Let's go dark. Although there was some darkness in Kids in the Hall. Like, there's the entire point when he has cancer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, and it gets bleak.
Very bleak.
Like, they're still talking shit about each other, but like you could see there's a lot more emotion. Like, so it's not like it was all like,
oh no, I know.
Fun.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, let's get more bleak.
Slightly more lighthearted subject matter now into.
Yeah, let's get into something heavier, James.
All right, let's finish off the our longest pieces with Riotsville, USA.
Ooh. Fuck the police.
Fuck the police. That was the only thing I thought the entire documentary.
All right. Calm down, NWA.
I'm sorry. This movie just got me real mad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You guys would be white.
Yeah.
White WA.
Yeah.
WWA.
WWS. Yeah.
Can we just point out that I read more in that documentary than I do in most articles on the news?
Yeah. So to give some context, this documentary was shot not even shot, I would say. It was just, it consisted of entirely archival footage that was it was mainly public domain at this point. Some things that they got from a couple news stations, but mostly, or I guess thankfully, anything that the federal government ever records or makes is just immediately public domain. No one can own it. The people of America own it. So it was very helpful for them because they were able to get very high quality copies of this film that was shot. So the whole thing is done that way. There is a couple pieces of voiceover that feels more like slam poetry. And then the rest is just reading. And yeah, it's not a documentary that you can do other things while you're watching it because you miss crucial pieces of information if you look away.
Seriously.
It's more of a visual essay.
Yeah, I guess
it's a video essay.
Yeah,
it's an art piece.
Yeah, it's more artsy visual essay than it is like a
than a traditional
documentary. Like every documentary is basically an essay, but this one is more, like you said, you can't really look away from it, and which screwed me over because I definitely was bored to tears through most of this movie.
I was super bored during
this movie. It was a hard one to get through. Even though it wasn't super long, but like it felt it because it
dragged so hard.
It felt it. Like I think it's an important documentary.
Agreed.
And I think it's very relevant and crucial to what is happening now.
Well, especially since the fucking techniques that they learned in the 60s are still happening now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And
they still don't know what to fucking do properly, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
well, you say that, but they were trained in a certain way, Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess to add slightly more context as well, the we'll call it an essay itself was about a fake town that they built on a military base back in the 60s that they dubbed or nicknamed Riotsville, USA. And it's where police chiefs would go, military personnel would go, National Guard, like every organization would go to learn tactics for how to deal with riots. Because in the mid 60s, there was a ton of rioting that started happening because people were upset about a lot of various different things, and people are still upset about those exact various different things.
It's like nothing's changed, James.
And you know what? Like, and when they were talking about, Riotsville was happening, and the police were learning these techniques, and at the same time they were running a report to see how do we fix society. And the report came out, and it was Lyndon Johnson commissioned that report, and the report came out, and it's like, do these things, fix housing, give people like a basic income, like really novel ideas that are still not implemented today. And the entire U.S. government and everyone else just went, nah, you know what we can do instead? Just train police. We'll just beat the shit out of them. It's fine. If we beat them, then this will all go away and we can get back to doing whatever we were doing in the first place.
Yeah.
And then we just kept that policy for the last 70 years.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not terribly interesting, but it's a fascinating look at real footage of how these techniques were implemented or how they were created and how things, like, if you made that more like, if you said it was from 2015, I bet you would still be like, yep, that checks out.
I want to talk about two quick brief things. One, I loved because it was basically just army personnel that had to like dress up as rioters. Hilarious.
Yeah.
All of
and
them
they acted. They were acting.
And they were acting too.
Yeah.
They were acting too.
I'm gonna get some guys and come back and get you. The guys hanging out of the fucking bus, yelling and screaming. Jesus,
calm down.
No one's
Jodie
giving you an
Foster.
Academy Award for this fucking performance, buddy. Second, what the fuck was that interview with that tear gas guy?
Yeah.
Like, what? That guy was just asking all leading questions. It's like, so, are you're the biggest manufacturer of tear gas in the United States? Yes, I'm the biggest manufacturer of tear gas in the United States. So would you say that tear gas is the most effective way of dealing with riots? Yes, tear gas is the most effective way of dealing with... What the fuck is this interview? Is this an ad for tear gas? Who needs an ad for tear gas?
Advertorial, yeah.
These guys, yeah.
Good God.
Yeah.
Just atrocious.
Yeah.
So
I was just gonna say one of my favorite parts was the audio from Lyndon Johnson. He was gonna tell the guy, he's like, "You're gonna do it this way, or I'm gonna cut your pecker off."
Lyndon Johnson's hardcore, man.
He's hardcore about this. Like, he's real serious.
Calm down, LBJ. Calm down.
It's yeah. Take it easy. Have a chamomile tea, buddy. You
exactly.
Need to,
like calm
your
chill, shit.
President of the United States. Jesus. I know times are tough, but you don't get to cut a guy's dick off.
He only got it because Kennedy died.
Well, yeah, that's
true.
That's true. It's true.
It's true.
Right.
Pour one out for our man Kennedy.
Poor one. I also liked all the coverage in about the conventions. I liked that they kind of steered away from the Democratic one because everyone kind of knows about that.
Everyone knows about that damn one.
When they watch about the trial of Chicago 7, if you want to know more,
it seems like that one's like the pinnacle of riots. So when they're like, nice, and there was a Republican one, it's like,
oh, really?
Okay,
and then there was like
that
whole thing that happened and like the breaking news, and then I didn't realize Bush was in the running at that point, but I guess it was.
Wasn't Bush?
No, not Bush. Reagan.
Reagan.
I'm sorry, Reagan was there. Yeah.
Reagan.
Yeah, because they go into Reagan Nation and.
Yeah, because it would have been the rise of Reagan around there. Like Bush wouldn't have
it was
come
starting
in.
Because we still have to get through Nixon.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
no,
it would have been like
we're
Nixon going into Reagan type thing.
Yeah. Yes,
like
Nixon,
and wasn't Jimmy Carter in there too?
Well, he was on the Democratic side.
Yeah. Either way,
Yes.
Bush wasn't until closer to the
Yeah,
the,
you're
the
right.
late
You're right.
80s,
You're right.
late
You're
80s,
right.
early
It was late
90s,
80s.
yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Reagan Bush at that point. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. It was upsetting to see all of that, and that it's still
relevant.
relevant.
Still
I think
hasn't
it's
fucking
it's
changed.
necessary. It's a necessary view, but it's.
Could have been less
just-
reading.
Yeah.
Less
I don't even
reading.
know if it should have been less read. I think it should have been more advertised as a visual essay than a
Than a documentary.
than a traditional documentary.
Yeah.
I agree.
And yeah, it took me a couple sittings to get through it, but I can't imagine seeing that one in the theater.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I probably would have melted into my seat.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, especially if it was after like a long day. If that was your third
Oh,
or
it's-
fourth of the
yeah.
day, yeah, no, that
I
would
would
have
have
been
just,
Nap
I
City.
just been like,
Nap
all right,
City.
all right,
Yeah.
checking out,
Yeah.
checking out.
Take out my
Important, but
Important,
There's
interesting way of
caveats.
doing it, but yeah, and maybe not the best execution for a documentary
Yeah.
specifically.
Agreed.
Yeah.
agreed.
So that covers off the three sort of longer ones we want to talk out. Do we want to go into some other ones? Talk sort of briefly about things.
Yeah, sure. Hit me, James.
Actually, you know what? Well, now we can kind of do like a mixed bag since we've kind of all we've either both seen it or only one of us has seen it. So Tony, hit me with one of yours.
Let's start with The Last Lap Dance.
Cool.
Of course.
Sell me on it.
The Last Lap Dance is about it's about the protests in Tel Aviv, Israel, because a bunch of strip clubs got shut down, and they
Was
were
this because of the pandemic, or was
no,
it before
I think,
the pandemic?
I think it was like before the pandemic, into the pandemic kind of thing. They don't really like that kind of thing over in Israel, like prostitute.
They don't.
Nah, right? But like they're
sex work.
sex work. So but I'm trying to say like it was about strip clubs getting shut down and like them putting more laws and stuff against prostitution, and then it just turned into all out like sex workers protests. Overall, great message. Very, very, very good about female empowerment, and they kind of tried to sell you that stripping is like an art form kind of thing. I could see it, right? The only problem with that, the problem is it dragged. It dragged for me, and the one thing that they did was they had the person talking, and it was all in subtitles, by the way. So they had the person talking, and then in the side they had,
God forbid you had to pay attention.
right. But on the side, they had like a little text of what they've done, right? So it was like, this person's done, like she has an MBA in business, and
Oh, cool.
So like a trading card.
like a trading card almost,
Some
right?
facts. Fun facts.
But the problem about that is your eyes go up to there, but then they're talking like a mile a minute. So you're like trying to
you're
catch up
missing
with the
the-
subtitles and
yeah.
stuff. And it's so fucking frustrating because like you're trying to look at their trading card, and then you're looking down at what they're trying to say, then
Right.
back to the trading card. And like, it was a frustrating watch.
So Tony doesn't like reading. All right. All right.
Did you watch that one shortly after like Riotsville? Was it just like Novel City?
I can't remember when we watched this one, but like, no. It was after.
Oh,
I think we started the day with.
You
this
took a
one.
break.
We
Nice.
took a break. But I thought it was good. I liked the message. I like what they were trying to portray in the documentary, but it just dragged.
Yeah.
Fair.
Good stuff.
Fair.
Did anyone watch The Quiet Epidemic?
No, it's on my. I was gonna probably watch.
So
it
it was just
today.
me. All right,
No,
cool.
it's
That's
just you,
fine.
buddy.
I can
Well,
talk
you
about
you
that
were
one
you were the
quickly.
one that wanted to see it.
I
Anyway.
did really want to see it, mainly because I kind of mentioned in a previous episode how like I've had 2 ticks on me in my life so far, and that's been in the 4 years that I've lived in Hamilton. So
Blessings.
I'm about 50% year per tick ratio.
And me and Dave have lived far longer in Hamilton, have not had a run.
We also
the
don't
tick.
like going in the woods.
There you go.
Yeah,
you need
we
to stay away
avoid the
from the
woods.
wooded areas.
Yeah, we avoid the woods.
Anyway, I was kind of. It was an interesting documentary talking about how Lyme disease and like long-term Lyme disease is not a well-respected disease, which sounds weird. Basically, there's
diseases respected.
well, I mean, in terms of the medical community actually agreeing that they exist.
Fair.
So it's like disrespected in the sense that like there's a whole subset of people that have been suffering from Lyme disease after a tick bite that have a whole host of symptoms, including we follow this one girl and her family who like can no longer walk and like can't function, can't stand properly anymore. Like it's just like a former shell of who she was. She was bitten by a tick in when she was like 11. And then it just was like an immediate downturn, and like now she's taking like 78 medications and like can't walk. Jesus. She met the Pope. That didn't help. Anyway, like
if it's not John Paul, it's not going to help.
Yeah, it was Francis though, so that's good. But anyway, so it was following her as kind of like, here's how bad Lyme disease is, and then the rest of the documentary was about, here's what's happening on the medical side and why no one thinks it exists. And a lot of it has to do with money and who's being paid by who and how everybody's linked together. And there's a medical consensus that Lyme disease is not something that severe long-term Lyme disease does not exist. There was a vaccine for Lyme disease that can literally prevent Lyme disease from ever happening. And no one took it because no one believes that Lyme disease is a real thing. So it got pulled from the market. So it was a really frustrating documentary to watch.
So this poor girl, she just struck down by God.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whoever you believe in.
Exactly.
Like, struck down by a higher power.
So, I mean, they're trying to get her better, and like they're going to different places. She did stem cell therapy, and like that didn't really work either. It's a long saga for this girl, but it's starting now to come around that like there is a vaccine. We can make it again. I think there's a country or a few countries in Europe that are banding together to actually make Lyme disease, because ticks are now everywhere, and it's starting to become more prevalent, and we could probably deal with this vaccine. So let's just like make it. Anyway, so that's where that documentary leads off to. Overall good, not great, frustrating because of how simple the solution is, and no one seems to want to do anything about it.
Well, if the pandemic has taught us anything, James, it's that people don't like being told what to do, and also don't like taking vaccines.
True.
I digress. I watched The Talented Mr. Rosenberg, which is about the so-called Yorkville swindler.
Okay.
I'm in.
So this gentleman, he's just a con artist.
Oh.
And he's just stolen a whole lot of money, and he's taken from a lot of people who have been left with nothing.
Right.
And they interview him, which I thought was fascinating because he's out of jail.
Yeah.
He's gone to jail like numerous times, but he's out of jail now. And they interview him, and he's literally changing his story as he's speaking.
Jesus.
And then when he's presented with, then there's certain moments where they're like, that's not actually what happened. This is what happened. So it was like, this is him talking. Then they're like, okay, this is what really happened. So it's frustrating. And there's part of it that's entertaining, part of it that drags. And I feel like there could have been more cohesion.
Right.
But it's also kind of fun when you're sitting there and he's like, oh yeah, it's at the corner of Osgood and Dundas.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, I know where that is.
I know that spot.
I know that spot. And then he's walking through Yorkville. I was like, okay, yeah. I recognize every single place you're walking through. But apparently he's banned from Yorkville.
Nice.
Like, he can't even go to Yorkville. He still goes, but he's supposed to be banned.
Nice. Nice.
So, but it was entertaining. It's a CBC documentary, so it was quick and short. And I just feel like it could have had a little more cohesion. Mm-hmm. But it's also kind of interesting to watch somebody lying through their teeth.
Sure.
And saying it so well that even he's believing himself.
Right.
Yeah.
So my wife really wanted to watch it. And I don't think she was absolutely thrilled with it either, but it was interesting.
Nice. So entertaining, but
entertaining, interesting, informative, but
could have done with some tightening up.
Some tightening up, yes.
Tony.
Let's go to one that I really, really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Handle with Care.
Sure.
It's the basketball one.
Yep.
It's about these group of guys who were doing mixtapes. Like, think of
Jock Jams?
Think of like the and one. You guys probably wouldn't know this because you guys weren't basketball players.
I understand what a mixtape is.
So like it was like an and one mixtape kind of thing,
Sure.
where like they were doing crazy stunts in like street ball and like
it.
those like fancy tricks, and like think of like Harlem Globetrotters
video
kind of
compilation.
Thing. Yeah,
there we go.
So it wasn't the and one mixtape, but it was like their own like mixtape thing, and it was followed these 5 basketball players through like the trials and tribulations of like them being a part of this team and playing basketball and what basketball meant to them. Deeply personal for me because I played basketball for most of my childhood. It was Canadian. They were in Vancouver, so they were referencing the NBA Hoop It Up, which is like a 3-on-3 tournament for children and that kind of thing. They have that in Ontario. I know people who played at the Hoop It Up tournament and stuff. So that was
Were you good enough to play in Hoop It Up?
I did not play in Hoop It Up. I played something similar. I actually played in a CFL, NFL, 6-on-6 flag football kind of thing.
Which has nothing to do with
basketball, but
it's not similar at all.
It's not.
It's not even the same fucking sport.
Anyways, it actually reminded me of another basketball documentary that I watched last year that was called Raise the Bar, about this girls team in Iceland. They were going up the ranks, playing all these girls teams, just completely demolishing them.
Right.
And then when it came to them trying to go into the boys tournament, the boys wouldn't let them because they wouldn't allow the cross play between girls and boys.
Sure.
And then
God forbid,
right?
Yeah.
But really, really well done. I really enjoyed this. Any basketball lover would love it. Anyone who actually played intramural sports when they were kids, they would like this too. Deeply, deeply good documentary.
Nice.
When you were playing ball,
Yes.
when you shot, would you say that you were able to whip it?
I love that you found a way to work that in there.
Yeah.
It's cute. It's cute. It's very nice.
And then he just Kobe'd the air.
Yeah. Kobe. Anyway.
Hey, yo, Kareem!
Oh, you suck, Kareem.
Okay, so I'll have to watch that one.
Yeah.
That sounds like one I'll have to watch.
And what else do we got? James, you got one?
Yeah, we could talk about. Well, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, but
Let's go.
Let's go with Navalny.
Navalny.
I missed this one. Fuck.
Man,
You
missed out.
missed out, my
I
friend.
still got time. Still got time.
It's like
Hot
number
Docs is on
2.
until
Number
tomorrow.
2 of my festival for
It
me,
is.
man.
Nice.
It is one to watch, my
All right.
friend.
I
Guess I'm
absolutely
watching this
love that
tonight.
it's more of a political thriller than a documentary per se. Anyway, it follows Alexei Navalny shortly after his assassination attempt and his investigation into who did it.
Plus like how he got to
Plus him in
the
general
point of
and,
getting an attempted assassination.
and who he is as a person as well. Yes. So there is a point in the documentary where they do kind of figure out everything that happened and who was responsible for it by just prank phone calling one of the guys that was part of the plot, and he fell for it.
Yeah, it's prank call. It's just like cranky anchors.
It's fucking insane. He spills everything. Like the entire plot, how they poisoned him, where they poisoned him, when it happened, why it wasn't a success, everything.
It's riveting.
The entire, and you're just watching this going, oh my god.
Yeah, and even
God.
James just explaining that to you, you still aren't prepared for it when it happens.
And that guy's fucking dead.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he went.
That guy's
missing
gone.
He went missing shortly after, and I don't think he's with us anymore.
Yeah,
Pour one out for that guy.
No, don't.
yeah. I also enjoyed the bit in the documentary where they were talking to him a little bit about how it's a hard concept to get around in the West, but like he's marching with known nationalists and like white supremacists and things like that, and they're like, well, how do you justify that? How do you justify being around these abhorrent people? And he's like, look, if you all have a common enemy, who fucking cares? Like, the bigger problem right now is that Vladimir Putin exists.
Yeah.
Like, I'm marching with these folks because we're all against the same enemy. Do I agree with them? No. But we all right now are united against the same thing. We need to get rid of Vladimir Putin and get someone else in power that can start like undoing the mess that exists.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and it's just like, he's apparently asked by like every Western media interview that he's ever done. They always ask him that. And he's like, I don't know what you want me to, like, do you want me to sit here politically and be like, oh, you know what, this group of people that I need in order to try to overthrow this government, I have to just like push aside because of the rest of their beliefs? Like, no, this is a bigger problem. And it's just something that doesn't make sense here because we don't live in a society that's like that.
We don't know what it's like.
Exactly. Right? So I enjoyed that.
Well,
bit.
I see the point of not wanting to march with Nazis.
No, I get it, but like at some point you just don't have a choice. Like,
it's an absolute must-watch.
Yeah, 100%.
It's very, very timely based on what's going on now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I saw this at Sundance, and I rewatched part of it now, and yeah, it's still hard-hitting.
Yep.
It's still... it still hits you like a stack of bricks when it's done.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Yeah.
It's very, very good filmmaking. Yeah. I would not be surprised if this shows up.
For the Oscars?
For the Oscars.
Yeah, 100%.
Would not be surprised. I think this one's a big contender.
Tony,
It's
you better
definitely
watch
it.
it.
It's definitely one
Yeah,
that we're
definitely
going to
gonna-
still be talking about at the end of the year.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm definitely gonna watch it this weekend.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
What are you doing right now?
Obviously, watching
Go.
Novelli.
Yeah, go. Me and James will finish it off. Go. Get out of here.
Hit me with another one, Dave. What do you got left?
I can hit you guys with one while
Sure.
Dave finds one.
Go for it.
I didn't see you there.
Oh, nice.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
What was that about?
So this was about. I forgot his name.
It's okay.
Hang on a sec. Reed Davenport.
Okay.
He's a disabled filmmaker. He's in a wheelchair, and
Sure.
this is important to the story. Obviously,
Okay.
I'm getting there. He films the entire documentary from him in a wheelchair.
Oh.
So when he's going down the street, you see his point of view.
Right.
Right.
Sure.
And this circus tent comes up, and it sparks interest in him to look at.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Right, the legacy of the circus and like
Sure.
the whole like evolution of the freak show.
Right.
And he's trying to connect it to his own personal life to see the similarities of how they
Sure.
were viewed at the circus and how he is viewed
Right.
in public. And just very hard-hitting doc. It needed a little bit more focus. I didn't really know if it was about his struggles or if it was about the circus, because he keeps leaning hard into the circus and then he tries to wrap it around to him.
Right.
It was good. I would recommend it. I really loved the point of view shots from the wheelchair.
Sure.
But overall, like, decent doc.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dave.
The killing of a journalist.
Oh yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, this one was
It's heavy.
This one was heavy. It's about a journalist and his wife who were murdered in Slovakia.
Yep.
Because he was investigating certain politicians and people with ties to politicians and the mafia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot going on, a lot to process. Tony would hate it because you'd have to read.
It's a lot of reading.
A lot of reading.
There's actually quite a bit
gone.
that's in English, though.
There is quite a bit in English.
No,
but there's
I'm
quite
over it. I'm over it.
You want me to just stop talking? It's heavy.
Yeah.
It's very heavy. It's very interesting.
It's a wild ass fucking ride.
It's a wild ride and pretty frightening at some points.
Yeah.
Like is it the military police that are just like wearing balaclavas?
Yeah.
Like that was unsettling. It's just very unsettling.
Yeah.
And I think to grip me a little more, I think it needed to explain a little more about Slovakian politics.
Yeah, a little bit. I kind of had to
what-
piece together how that government is set up, and you kind of get it by the end, but you're not quite sure.
And I think there should have been a little more on who this journalist was and why it was so important for him to cover and to do these, put this coverage out there.
Yeah.
It was
Like
clearly
why he started
it.
Yeah.
Because like they touch on it, but they don't really explain it. And afterwards, it's not so much about him so much as it is about them figuring out how he got murdered.
Yeah.
And what led to him getting murdered. Like the why. I wanted more of the why.
Yep.
Why did they want this guy dead?
Right. Yeah. I did like that he, given his untimely death, that he did end up leaving a legacy.
Sorry, not untimely murder.
Untimely murder and
he was
death.
Murdered.
He did die too. Anyway,
I know, but let's not.
Fine. Yes,
let's not get around it. He was murdered.
His untimely death due to a murder
Thank you. There you go. Thank you for clarifying.
Ending, like, he did leave a legacy behind because it spurred an investigation that just kept fucking going deeper and deeper and deeper. And, like, the hold of corruption is just vast.
Yeah.
It was insane how far down that goes and, like, how everyone at the top levels of government in Slovakia basically orchestrated this guy's murder straight up, like, without any idea that what was about to happen was going to, like, end the entire thing for them. It's crazy.
It wasn't like a topless model in the cabinet or something.
Sure was. A topless Italian model was like their like minister of like state affairs or something. I was like, what?
I don't know. You guys
Insane.
are kind of selling me on this. I might.
You should watch it.
It's
It
worth
is good.
watching. It's worth watching.
Yeah.
It's good. Not great, but good.
It is well. It's well made.
Yeah.
I just think there should have been a little more contextual stuff
Yeah.
to it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Any last ones we want to get to?
I have two. We got two more.
Sure.
Go.
I'm going to start with mine, and then the one that me and you have watched,
Yep.
James.
Sounds good.
So we'll start with a little funny one. It's called Sexual Healing.
Nice. Healing.
It was about a disabled woman who wanted to experience sex,
Oh,
Cool.
yeah, that sounds real. That sounds like a barrel laugh,
Uplifting.
Tony.
but it was
So it's not about Marvin Gaye.
no, it's definitely not about Marvin Gaye. She wanted this subject wanted to experience sex, but in a good way.
Right.
She had experienced sex before, and because of the spasms in her back, she wasn't able to have a good experience. And like her partners didn't really have patience with her and everything.
Sure.
So she goes to like a sex caregiving business.
Nice.
And it was just a very cute and uplifting story. There's scenes where she goes into like the sex shop and they're like going through like vibrators and
Nice.
they sold her on a swing.
Oh,
Cool.
cool.
They're like telling
Cool.
her how to like go in
Yeah.
this swing and how it would work and stuff.
Right.
And she was just so cute, and she was inspiring, right? Because the whole end message at the end was owning yourself. Like you have these things that hold like roadblocks that hold you back from experiencing life.
Yep.
And you should just own those things and go experience life. And the only thing that I would say that was bad about it was it just abruptly ended.
Oh,
Like I was
all
into
right.
it. I was into the story. I was like ready to go and everything. And then it just sort of ended.
Oh.
And I was like, wait, that's it?
Oh,
I wanted more.
Sure.
The subject was so interesting. I could listen to her talk forever. She was
nice.
She was funny. She was honest. She was real. Great subject.
Cool.
Really loved it.
So kind of like The Sessions.
Yeah, that was another thing I had written down. It reminded me a lot of that, for sure.
You saw that with your mother.
Yeah. You sure did.
Yeah, she thought
She
it
was a
awkward.
little scared by that.
She was a little awkward.
It's okay. She made it through.
She did make it through. She did
Yeah.
make it through.
But-
Not that I understand. Like it wasn't like it was. It wasn't like it was like hardcore.
No,
sex
I know.
for the sake of sex.
Yeah.
Heartwarming documentary. I would highly recommend it.
All right.
And our last one.
It's The Art of Silence.
Art of Silence.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that?
Do we just sit here in silence?
No, we have to mime it.
We have to mime it.
You have to mime it.
Yeah.
Because it's about Marcel Marceau. Yes.
Yes, it is about Marcel Marceau, who I guess popularized miming, pantomiming,
Yes.
based on his. Yes, Dave is trapped in a box. Based on his.
We'll
his
just leave
love
him in
of-
the box, right?
Yeah, he can stay in his.
He can stay in the
There's no
fucking
air
box.
holes though, so
Sorry,
he's gonna die.
He's gonna
soon.
die.
He
Dave has now died in the box.
I have
Yes.
expired.
He popularized pantomiming based on his love of Charlie Chaplin. He founded a school and
Yeah.
did a lot of like silent work and comedy in a way, and I thought it was fine. He seemed like a really interesting subject and had a really interesting life and led to a really cool legacy of founding a school and people wanting to become better, and like then they took those lessons away to try to help people with Parkinson's. It was very interesting. I was just kind of meh on it.
I was kind of mad on it too. I thought it was a little slow. not so difficult to watch. Like, he had an interesting enough life, and he was good as, like I said, I keep going back to like the subjects, but like in a documentary, like the subject has to be interesting, because if it's not interesting, like it's not going to be an enjoyable watch. And Marcel Marceau is an interesting subject. Yeah. So I was interested in that. I was a little let down by it.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a little bit more. I didn't really know what to expect. It just kind of
whatever. Yeah. I went in with no expectations and came out just kind of meh on it. It was fine. It exists. You can watch it. If you're
interested in the guy, in him and his life, if you didn't really know anything about him to start with, I would recommend it in that sort of sense. But,
it kind of gets lost in the weeds.
It would get lost in the weeds for sure.
But otherwise,
you guys are really selling me on it.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that was Hot Docs.
Our very first press accreditation as a podcast.
Accreditation as a podcast.
Well done, boys.
Well done.
We did it.
Well done.
We did it.
We came out the other side.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Hot Docs, for hosting us.
Can't wait to do it again next year.
Yeah. Can't wait.
So let's move on to our main segment then.
That wasn't the main segment?
God, right. All right, let's just wrap it up here.
Just wrap it up.
How was that not the main segment?
Shit.
This is what happens when we have to watch. When we decide to watch.
Life's hard, James.
15 freaking documentaries.
Life is
and we
so
gotta talk
hard.
about them all. I know it's hard to be a podcast host. That being said,
I don't know how you sleep at night.
I don't know. This is why we have to do a main segment too. This is it.
It's gonna be a long
talk about
episode.
a hard life. You got to do a main segment now.
Fine, hit me with your main segment, James.
Uncharted.
I fucking hated this movie and everything that it's about.
Tell us how you really feel.
Seriously, right? We took our fucking shirts off last episode. I think I'm gonna take my shirt off again because I'm this fucking hot on this fucking movie.
Wow.
You just weren't into the Papa John's integration?
I don't care.
That was a hell of an integration.
How the fuck long did they have for this movie? And that's what they fucking gave us?
Oh, I know. And it went through 78 different directors before it settled on this?
Seriously. And Mark Wahlberg was casted as fucking Nate Drake and then reverted back and went to fucking Sully. He went from the main character to the supporting character before this movie even got off the ground.
Yeah. It will never not be funny that it took so long for the movie to be made that he had to change characters.
Oh my lord. I didn't like it either. I didn't hate it. I don't think I'm as angry as Tony.
No, I'm definitely not as angry as Tony.
It was just very, very mediocre.
I say that I hate it, but I still gave. If you saw my Letterboxd score, I gave it 2 stars, so it is better than Morbius.
Well, the shit I took this morning was better than Morbius.
Yeah, yeah.
Do we? I have some stats as well around just video game adaptations.
Hit me with some stats.
Let me switch here.
Hit me with some stats and then hit me with some Papa John's.
I'm always gonna hit you with some Papa John's. So.
This episode is brought to you by Papa John.
I did as a visual presentation for Dave and Tony only. I have a breakdown, a spreadsheet breakdown.
That's a lot of movies.
It's a lot. So I looked at all the live action video game adaptation movies that went to theater. They're not direct to video ones,
sure.
Not animated. So unfortunately, that doesn't include any of the Pokemon anime.
The ones that made money.
The ones that actually made money. I wanted to look specifically at live action because we were talking about Uncharted, and there has been a lot, and I've actually seen quite a few of them. I was going through the list, and I'm like, I've actually seen quite a lot of these.
Imagine that.
The top rated by Rotten Tomatoes and almost by Metacritic as well is somehow Werewolves Within.
Yeah,
I keep hearing amazing.
So I was going to bring this up too. I looked at a lot of top video game adaptation lists, and freaking Werewolf Within was number 1 in 90% of them. And all I know about this movie is Sam Richardson is the main character.
Yeah,
and there's werewolves.
Within.
Within.
But the next 3 below that, and it's a pretty big disparity. But I think it's just because Werewolves Within was not widely seen.
That
so
would be fair. Yeah,
it probably has less
release.
reviews, which means it has a higher Rotten Tomatoes score. But
Very,
regardless
very
of all of that,
a limited release.
Yeah.
And probably because most people don't realize it's a video game film.
the next 9 movies on this list that range from a whopping 41% on Rotten Tomatoes all the way to a very peaked 68% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'll just fire through this list, and then I kind of want to make a point about what I think might be happening. So at the very bottom of that next 9 movies, so this is like the top 10. It starts with Uncharted at number 10.
Okay.
And then it's Mortal Kombat, the
Which one?
One from 95.
Respect.
Then Monster Hunter,
Okay.
Rampage,
Okay.
Tomb Raider,
Which one?
2018, so the relaunch with Alicia Vikander. Mortal Kombat 2021.
Ugh.
Sonic the Hedgehog. Ugh. Detective Pikachu. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And then Werewolves Within.
I remember Detective Pikachu.
That was a cute movie.
It was cute.
Would have been better if Danny DeVito was Pikachu.
Right. So looking at like that kind of list, to me, especially that Uncharted's at the bottom of that top 10 at like a 41%, I started having this idea or theory that if you start adapting a video game that has a deep, deep lore and backstory, it is so much harder to actually adapt it.
Are you saying Uncharted has a deep lore?
Well, deep backstory. There's 4 games.
5 technically. Actually 6.
Well,
6 technically.
Sure. If you're going
What's the 6th?
The PSP one.
Oh, right, the PSP. You have so much backstory that already exists, so much canon, so much. This is who the character is. It's been developed. Like, this is who Nathan Drake is. Also, shout out to Nathan Drake being in this movie briefly.
Oh, yeah, Nolan North.
Yeah.
I love that. I started
Just-
laughing.
just
Alyssa's
chilling
like,
on the beach.
Why are you chuckling
Oh,
about
is that-
That's Nolan
How
North.
did you not know?
It sounds like Nathan Drake.
He sounds like Nathan Drake. The score comes on
Yeah.
for no apparent reason, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh yeah, that happened to me once."
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Just, anyway, we've spent so
You're
much.
cute. You're
I
adorable.
just
At least
I
for
missed it. I'm sorry.
You're adorable.
At least for the 3 of us who have played all of the games, we have all played the games, right?
I missed the 4th one.
Oh, God.
you didn't
tell
miss
me.
much.
Anyway.
This movie made me want to
There's
play
some
the 4th
solid
one.
action, but you didn't
Yeah.
miss much.
Yeah. It's a well-established character with a well-established storyline and relationships and character building. It's all there. To then try to adapt that and just like you run into a point of, do you redo something that's already happened in one of the games and try to like faithfully adapt one of the game's stories? Or do you just go and branch out on your own and try to make a whole new story around it? But Uncharted went the way with, let's do an origin story for Nathan Drake. Like, were you curious about where he got his gun holsters?
I did like that. I did like when he puts it on and the music comes on. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Jesus.
Like, I can imagine being in theater like, "Ha ha!"
Oh, we were all waiting for this.
I saw what you did there.
I just don't know. And then I tried to.
Also, Kitty got wet in the the bar.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, whoa,
Deep cuts. I don't know. I feel like maybe if like a video game has a minimal backstory, you can probably make a better case for making an interesting movie like Detective Pikachu. Like they went in that direct, like, you know who Pikachu is as an established character, and they just went, you know what? But what if we did this instead? And you're kind of like, oh yeah, that's a new angle. That's cool. I never really thought about it.
What if
that
we
way.
remade Who Framed Roger Rabbit with Pikachu
with
and not,
Pokemon,
and not go the whole 9 yards?
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's something there where... And then I tried to watch Sonic the Hedgehog, where I thought that theory might continue to hold up, where if you have a relatively minimal backstory... Like, there's a story...
There's
Sonic...
a deeper lore with Sonic the Hedgehog than there is with
guess.
Uncharted.
I guess. Anyway, I fucking hated Sonic the Hedgehog, but that's a whole other conversation.
Come on.
I think you guys were just all under a spell during COVID, and that's why you loved it. And now
I saw it
doesn't
before
exist.
COVID. It was fine.
Fine.
Just like this movie. This movie was aggressively
fine.
Aggressively fine. It's entertaining enough. The pirate ship thing was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that they adapted certain moments from the games.
Yeah.
I really liked how some of the set pieces were just
Somewhat.
like taken straight out of the game, like
Yeah.
the whole plane sequence. I like
Yeah.
how they tried to do that. That was sick.
I mean, that's not how physics works, but
Yeah.
you know,
Well, yeah,
whatever. We'll
obviously.
just let that happen.
And
We'll let it happen.
Like, I don't know if I'm the only one that noticed this, but he moved like Nathan Drake. The way Nathan Drake jumps in the games, that's
Yeah.
how he jumps in
Yeah.
this movie.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
I mean-
love that.
Yeah, I guess he did quite a few of his own stunts for this one. So yeah, maybe.
Well, it's not like he's in front of a green screen ananyway.
Yeah,
He's not
yeah, yeah.
flying.
No,
in the
I know,
air.
I meant like
He's not
in
actually
terms of
getting
like
hit by a car.
they didn't CGI double him and then make him jump like Nathan Drake. Like,
Yeah.
he did jump like that
jumped,
on
yeah.
some wires on a green screen, but whatever, it still worked. He had a fan blowing in his face. It's fine.
yeah.
I disagree with you on it needing on Uncharted being a deep lore. He's basically a more charismatic Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And that's it. He's a more charismatic Indiana Jones, and he shoots more people than Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And he seems
Except in this movie.
and he seems to run into a lot of evil characters in the
A
Antiquities
surprising
game.
amount.
Yeah.
Surprising amount of evil in
Art-
the Antiquities hardcore
the
game.
Artifact game.
Yeah.
And I think this movie just went too far with his origin. Like, we don't. Like,
Yeah.
I don't give
Yeah.
a shit. I didn't give a shit about his brother in the games. I sure as shit don't give a shit
Don't
about
care
him
now.
Don't care.
But like, you don't need that as his thing. Just literally, hey, I like collecting shit.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that I think was part of my issue too, is like they leaned so far heavily into like giving this guy an origin story and developing his character, even though, as I said, his character is developed.
They're trying to franchise.
They forgot about like the treasure hunt. The treasure hunt became like, oh, and now we have to do this. Oh, by this way, these two keys fit together. Cool. Like, oh, I'm in a Papa John's.
I love the Papa John's.
Cool. Like,
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. it's just
And that was a brutal fight. For a PG-13, that's a brutal
Yeah.
knockdown fight.
yeah. It just, I don't know. It lost. It was trying to be an adventure movie, but the adventure was just so boring that they then focused on the characters, but the characters were so meh that I just didn't like none of it. I didn't like any of it a lot. I didn't love any part of it. It was all just kind of there. It was like a nice plain bowl of oatmeal.
That's
to
why I said
enjoy.
aggressively fine.
Yeah.
Like, there's some enjoyable parts. Him and Marky Mark,
No.
they're all right.
No.
They're all
No.
right together. They could have been.
No.
I don't think he
No.
was completely wrong for Nathan Drake.
Except
But I
when
think they
Marky
could've-
Mark disappears for the
Yeah.
back half of the movie.
Yeah.
After
I
the
think-
Papa John's, he's just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he probably
Well,
got
Sully
the
does-
shits from Papa John's, Jimmy.
Sully does disappear in the game a lot. He's not always
Yeah, I know,
there,
I know.
right?
He's not always
Yeah.
there.
So
And like
it's-
I like them breaking each other's balls, but I think they needed more of that.
Yeah. Lean heavier into that
Into the
dynamic,
ball
and
busting.
maybe just make it the two of them. It didn't have anyway. Whatever.
And
I
it
don't
needed
think-
to be more father-son. That's what the relationship is. Sully
Yeah.
is his father. Is
Well,
basically his father figure.
It's because Marky Mark doesn't have all that gray hair yet. Like,
No, he's not.
And he doesn't have the damn mustache.
Well, he gets
Yeah.
the mustache
Give him
at
the
the
fucking
end.
mustache.
mustache.
How can you have a movie with Sully as the character and not have the damn mustache?
Honestly, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Tom Holland did
No.
not work. Marky Mark did not work. My wife, who has not played the games, does not know anything about Uncharted. She's literally saw me play it in passing. She even said both of them were miscasted.
I don't
That
think they
says
were
something.
miscast.
No,
I
they
just think they
definitely
could have. I think they could have picked someone
Yeah.
better. They made it work, but fucking Tom Holland's basically playing Peter Parker without the
Without
spiders.
powers, yeah.
Without
That's
powers.
another thing
Yeah.
she said. Peter Parker basically without the powers
Yeah.
and a treasure hunter.
yeah,
Yeah, Peter Parker with treasures.
yeah,
Yeah.
vaguely treasures.
Vaguely treasures.
But he was fine. It was fine. It was all
yeah.
fine. Like it could have been so much better. And to your point, I feel the parts I disliked in the games were when it wasn't about treasure hunting and not about running away from the bad guy. When they stopped to be like, oh, he had a brother. Oh, let's look into this. And then sure enough, when I watched this movie, oh, he had a brother. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. make it just a straight up treasure hunting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And focus more on I finished this movie and I wanted to watch National Treasure again because that focuses more on the treasure hunt than this fucking movie does.
Yeah, like literally. Here's how you make Uncharted. Nathan Drake. He goes for treasure. He has a buddy named Sully. There's somebody, and then literally cut out that first little chunk of the movie and cut right into him meeting up with Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
There.
Done.
Yeah.
There. It's a lot more concise.
Don't kill Antonio Banderas like a chump.
Oh, yeah,
That too. He just
fucking
fucking just.
He died like
What the
punk.
fuck, man?
I also appreciated Chekhov's red Mercedes.
I called that.
Don't damage the car. We already know it's going to get damaged. You showed us it at the beginning.
Yeah, why did they even bother showing that?
I
Why
don't
is
know.
that there?
Why do we need the record scratch? You're probably wondering how I got here.
Yeah.
I'm not.
No.
Show me later.
Show me.
Sorry, I take it back. I know why they showed it, because when they show it again, they're showing it from a different angle.
Yeah.
Right? Because they have to show Chekhov's fucking...
Bravo.
Red car.
Bravo.
The girl who's... is it Chloe?
Chloe.
Chloe. She was fine.
Yeah.
I liked her.
I liked her better than anybody else in that movie.
I would say she's the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
She does very well. And I do like when they're doing the hunting through... that leads them to Papa John's.
Yeah.
That was fun. But yeah, in Papa John's... Like, come on.
I'm standing in an empty Papa John's. There's no one here. Why?
What? Like, why?
It wasn't even empty. There was enough people. There was plenty of people there. They all run away because you're fighting.
Oh yeah, because
someone.
he throws a fucking chair at the wall.
Because this psycho white guy's trying to
also,
break the glass.
They were in Spain at this point.
Spain
Spain or Italy?
I think it was Spain.
Spain.
Morocco?
For the Papa John's integration?
That
I
was
thought they were in
Spain.
Spain.
Okay,
I
I trust you both. They're in Spain.
Somewhere in Europe.
Tony, don't even bother looking up. They're somewhere in Europe.
Somewhere in Europe.
Somewhere in Europe where Papa John's has infiltrated.
Papa John's has opened a restaurant and
they had
in a historic part of the city, and it's bumping. There's people. Why are you eating pizza at a Papa John's in Spain? Go anywhere else. Literally anywhere. Why is there a Papa John's in Spain?
Well, James, there's McDonald's everywhere.
Well, at least McDonald's is consistent food. But
there's Subway everywhere.
you can get better pizza. Probably. Somewhere in Spain.
That'll agree with. I don't mind. I don't mind for chain pizza. I don't mind Papa John's.
If it was a McDonald's integration, I'd honestly be like, yeah, that makes sense. I could. Yeah, there's people in a McDonald's in Spain, but Papa John's?
Maybe they couldn't get McDonald's. They had to settle for Papa John's.
Apparently, pizza's coming back in a big way this year, James. Lest you forget, there was a little Caesar's integration with the Batman.
That's true. There was.
Jesus.
I'm surprised he wasn't eating Little Caesars in the Batman.
He was eating the Bat Zone.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Let's pause.
I never leave the Bat Cave without it.
let's pause so I can figure out the facts and eat my Bat Zone.
Yeah. I'm hungry. I don't know. It was a very aggressively meh movie.
Yeah, it's just fine. It's not a good enough for a video game movie. It's fine. Who cares? Yeah. They've been trying to make this movie for well over a decade. They made it. It's fine. We can move on now.
We're gonna get a sequel.
It did well enough, so we'll probably get a sequel. And he'll have the mustache and he'll have the cigar.
Yep.
And
They'll probably spray paint his gray hair.
Yeah.
Well,
just for men.
Did he have gray hair? At
touch of gray?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. It's like I don't think they'll spray paint.
Yeah.
They'll just get him to Sully to say hi to your mother for me.
Yeah.
Just for men.
Yeah.
I want them to bring what's her name in.
Which one?
Who's Drake's girlfriend?
Oh yeah. I can't remember her name right now.
The reporter?
The photographer.
The photographer. Yeah. They got
Elena.
Thank you. Yes.
I was hoping she would show up at some point.
No.
And I wanted more.
That's for the sequel.
I wanted more of him and Chloe, kind of like, will they, won't they?
Sure.
Type thing. I wanted more of that because in the game they're definitely like, oh yeah, we used to hook up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I wanted a little more of that as opposed to, I'm gonna write this and confuse her.
Sure.
And even though she's been fooled a bunch of times in this movie, she's just
also
gonna hook, line, and sinker.
Also, can we just talk about for a second? So there's two confusion things. There's one, the confusion with the bad guys go to the wrong beach. the second confusion is the mislead for Chloe, so that she wouldn't go after the treasure, and so that Tom Holland could go get it himself. But I'm sorry, what are the odds that he is driving his boat past the exact specific spot when all of the bad guys just show up on the coast again? Like, they left a beach and made a U-turn and then saw his boat speeding past and went, oh, he knows where he's going. Let's follow him.
And yeah, they totally can like pinpoint. Oh yeah, that's totally Nathan Drake. That's not just some white guy. That's
with their bare eyes. No one's got binoculars up. No. That's Nathan. That's him. It has to be. It's a boat. What? Like,
stupid. Just stupid.
There was a lot of stupid moves in it. I thought it was entertaining enough. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was aggressively fine.
I liked the action.
Sure.
Fair.
But anytime it wasn't treasure hunting
except that dog shit sword fight bullshit in the sky.
Yeah. Whatever the fuck
that CGI looked like ass.
Yeah.
The set pieces, the action, the treasure hunting, that's all good. When it's being Uncharted, yeah, I liked it. When it's not,
yeah,
I just don't give a shit.
Didn't care.
Also, why didn't he burn his hands on those light fixtures?
I don't know.
Like, I've seen Police Story.
Yeah.
His hands are mangled.
Yeah.
And he did it for realsies. Tom Holland's not wearing fucking gloves. At least, like, pretend you're in pain.
Yeah. Oh, they're all LED, Dave.
Yeah,
Doesn't
that's
matter.
literally what I was about to say. LED.
He
Wave of the
probably
future.
would still be in pain. They probably would still be pretty warm.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot that was just aggressively fine. I enjoyed watching National Treasure right after it because it's a much more fun treasure hunt of a movie.
I'm more pissed off that people like Mortal Kombat 2021, the 95.
The 95?
95 is the perfect video game movie. Perfect.
Yeah.
5 minutes of here's who this is, here's who this is, here's who this is, and then the rest of it you came for.
Yeah.
What'd you come for? You came to see people beating the shit out of each other, and that's what you're gonna get for the next 85 minutes.
Yeah. Whereas the newer Mortal Kombat was not that at all.
All origin story. They don't even. It's called Mortal Kombat. They don't even go to the fucking tournament.
Nope. It's all the pre-tournament before the tournament.
I will say though, the bit with Kung Lao throwing his hat down like a bus.
Definitely.
See, and that's it.
No notes.
Everyone
notes.
gave it a high praise because of that, and it skewed all the numbers.
Like zero notes.
Skewed all the numbers. Tony, you've been watching some other ones.
Oh Jesus. Yeah, I have. They haven't been great, but there's one that I really, really enjoy. You guys are gonna give me so much shit for it, but I need to say it. Need for Speed. That movie.
You know, I've never seen it.
Oh my God, James. Go. It's
kind of boring.
Tony loves it.
But here's the thing. Okay, the movie's loud, so you need to. I was watching it on my phone, and I almost blew out my eardrum. That's how loud it is.
As the director intended.
Yeah. What?
Isn't our girl Dakota in that?
Yeah, she is.
Love it.
I now have my top actress on my letterbox is now DJ.
Yeah, baby.
Nice.
So it has a bunch of pacing issues. It doesn't really get started until like 40 minutes in.
Right. Because it's an origin story.
Because there's a little bit of an
for speed.
Hey man, but you know what? Aaron Paul, like
he's not right for that.
He's
movie.
Definitely not right for it. I'm doing a terrible job of this movie, but it's racing. It's exactly what Need for Speed was.
Right.
And I just
when it's not.
Except when it's not.
When it's Need for Speed.
It's Need for Speed.
So basically Uncharted.
So basically
when it's
like
Uncharted, it's great. When it's not Uncharted, it sucks.
Stop listening to Dave. Honestly, it's a fun watch. It's
Well, aren't the car chases actually real? It's not just CGI
bullshit. It's not. They're car chases, and the car chases are fucking great. Like Gone in 60 Seconds kind of shit.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one too. But yeah, I really enjoyed that one. A fucking shittier one that I watched was Double Dragon.
Aww.
Oh, you watched Double Dragon?
Double Dragon.
Good for you.
Robert Patrick?
Yeah.
Alyssa Milano?
Yeah, Scott Wolf,
Wolf? The guy from Iron Chef?
Yeah.
He gets the shit kicked out of him by Keanu Reeves in John Wick 3?
The guy, this is ultimate that guy. Enzo from Lethal Weapon. You know the guy who like electrifies rigs with the sponge?
Nice.
He's in it. He's one of the henchmen. and it's fucking great because I
How would
recognize
remember
it.
his fucking...
You wouldn't. He's in Die Hard too. Like he's
the sponge guy. Is he the guy who gets his knees blown out in Die Hard?
I'm fairly certain.
Or the one who eats the crunchy?
He's the one who eats the crunchy.
Okay.
Nice.
But that movie, like, I remember my grandmother gave that to me on VHS, and I wore out the tape, and I'm watching it now as a grown 30-year-old and
Asking why?
Why did I do this?
You're almost 32.
Yeah.
Also, who hurt you?
Why?
You wore out the Double Dragon tape?
I did.
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know. It was Double Dragon. It was Three Ninjas. Like, I just liked kids kicking the shit out of people, apparently.
Scott Wolf's not a child, Tony.
Well, like, it was very kid-friendly.
Christ.
I also watched Resident Evil. That one is...
the first one?
Yeah, the first one. The first one. That one was decent.
With
Mila
Mila?
Jovovich.
It wasn't what I remember. Like, it was a lot shittier than I remember it being, but it was
I
definitely...
just remember the laser thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the laser
Slices
thing
into
was
pieces.
fucking cool.
Still cool.
But like the CGI in it, that big monster at the end,
Yeah.
fuck, like Microsoft Paint.
Yeah. But you know what? On par CGI with fucking Welcome to Raccoon City.
Oh, don't fucking get me started on that piece of shit.
It's an atrocity.
I still haven't seen it.
It's an atrocity. I don't see. And this is it. Like
Th-
we're
then
talking
this-
about
yeah.
all these movies, and like Tony's like, yeah, for Need for Speed, it's great when it's Need for Speed, and not when it's not Need for Speed. What is it like? What? How have we not found a successful video game adaptation formula yet? Why is none of it working? Like every single movie that we've talked about here, as I said, like the highest Rotten Tomatoes is for Sonic the Hedgehog 2 at 68%, minus Werewolves Within. Well, that's a whole other thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like everything else is
What did you like about Sonic?
Oh. Shut the fuck up.
That was good, James.
Just
I like that.
stop talking.
No.
No.
We'll leave it there. Leave it there.
Stop talking. I wanted to kill myself. Like the jokes weren't working for me. And I also
You're not a child.
correct. And I understand that I'm not its target demo, but like it did nothing for me. And I'm not into 90s Jim Carrey anymore. I can't. His Dr. Robotnik is just no, not even the dance did anything for me. And mainly because
dead on the inside.
mainly
Are
because
you telling me I'm a child because I
Yes.
like Sonic?
mainly because
okay, I'll take
that
that.
dance in the middle of it, the power goes out in his truck or whatever, and then he puts the power back on, and somehow the correct amount of time has passed still. Like the song didn't stop and then start from that point. Nope, we jumped to the chorus when he turned the power back on. That doesn't make any sense. The song stopped, the whole power went out in your fucking truck, and somehow the song kept playing?
James,
Where?
it's just a movie.
James.
I'm mad.
James,
I was already out of it by that point. I was
It's
just
true.
like, now I just started nitpicking.
James, it's about a blue hedgehog who
Yeah.
runs quickly.
Yes. And there's parts at the
And
beginning
he
that
looks
I kind of
like
liked.
he looks like Sonic the Hedgehog instead of whatever that monstrosity was that they originally were going with.
Oh my-
that the
yeah.
internet told
Yeah.
them not to go with.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
internet said no.
Yeah. I mean, I
And then they
like
didn't pay all the
I liked-
they didn't pay all the CGI artists.
great. That's always lovely to hear. I liked the final sequences. I thought they were fun, and like that final battle with Robotnik was fun. If I'm praising anything about it, and I liked some of the CG work, even though they didn't pay the artists to do it. I don't know. I just none of the rest of it worked for me. There were some funny moments, but then the rest was just like I just wanted him to shut the fuck up.
It's Ben Schwartz, man. Like, it's kind of what you get.
Yeah, I'm done with Ben Schwartz.
Discount Ryan Reynolds.
After Party was great.
After Party was fine because he wasn't talking a mile a minute because there's too many other people there.
I think to your point, what you're saying, because I'm thinking of 2018 Tomb Raider as well.
Sure. Yep.
Everything where it's just the game, we seem to like. Anything
Yeah.
it's not, we don't like. So maybe to your point, or to my point originally, here's 5 minutes of character development.
Yeah.
that, like minimal, like just to tell you who they are.
Yeah.
And then here's 85 minutes of what you actually came for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Anything that starts establishing weird backstory or lore or deep canon and shit. It just
Like-
never works.
like
Like
people-
even fucking Monster Hunter. Either of you watch Monster Hunter?
I've seen Monster Hunter. I
What
immediately
the
forgot it
fuck?
after I
Why?
watched it.
It's awful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet it is.
It's fucking awful.
I
But
bet it is.
when they're fighting monsters, it's kind
Oh,
of
that
cool.
was
Minus
pretty
that
cool,
it's
yeah.
edited to garbage and it looks
Yeah.
like shit. But
Yeah.
it's
Isn't there like
still cool.
27 Resident Evil sequels?
There sure
Yeah,
is.
there sure is.
I
So obviously
counted the
they
ones
did
that
something right.
Yeah.
I counted the ones that I watched, and I got up to the fifth one, and then I tapped out.
I got
Tapped out right at the last one. Like, I need to see the last one.
You know when I tapped out?
Yeah.
After the first one.
Yeah.
I've
that's
never
fair.
seen anything.
You didn't
else.
watch the second one that was all done in Toronto?
No.
That was cool. They blew up
They're
City
all
Hall.
done. They're all done in Toronto.
Yeah, but that one's very, Toronto.
Okay.
I was gonna say, aren't they all done in Toronto?
Yeah, but that
apparently
one's
Raccoon
very
City is
Toronto.
actually Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna
just-
say, no. What were you gonna finish? Because you were gonna say something about Resident Evil, and I was gonna change the movie.
Change it.
All right. I was gonna say Rampage wasn't that bad. I mean, the dialogue is absolutely horrendous, but like
Again,
you get what
when
you
you're
play,
when you're rampaging, we're having a good time.
Yeah,
when you're
but-
not rampaging, we're not loving it.
yeah. Fuck.
I think it's just gotten to a point where it's like, stop trying to grab an audience that's not into video games. Just
Yeah.
make the fucking video game. It's that easy.
Yeah.
With Rampage, they needed to do a little more. I get
Yeah.
it. You had to show how they become.
Yeah.
How did we?
yeah.
Yeah.
But, like,
how did we
mutants
get
that-
here?
How
Yes.
did we get to this part where they're mutants that are fucking destroying buildings?
Yeah.
Most of it in Rampage though is all action. It's basically a fucking kaiju movie
Yeah.
at this point, right? Like, not saying like when they're out rampaging, it's not good because like it's just cheese, right? And like you're watching a Rampage movie about 3 animals that get turned into kaijus and rip apart your city,
Yeah.
right? Like what are you expecting?
Yeah.
And then The Rock.
And then The Rock doing rock things.
Yeah. I don't know what will break us out of aggressively meh video game adaptation movies. I don't really know what the solution is, but that's all we've gotten so far is aggressively meh or just awful.
Yeah.
And
Awful.
Mortal Kombat.
And Mortal Kombat.
And one Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, because the second one's awful. The second one is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. You know what the lowest one on that list is though? Just to wrap this up and then we'll Uncharted is definitely not the lowest. It is just fine, aggressively meh. You can watch it. You want to know what the lowest one on the list is with an absolute 0%?
Hit me.
Tekken.
I didn't even know there was a Tekken movie.
Neither did I.
I thought it would have been House of the Dead.
Nope. It's Tekken.
Fuck. House of the Dead.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
That's
Oof
a
is
movie.
right.
That's a movie.
A film.
That is a film.
Yeah.
Well, they cut in like scenes from the game.
Yeah, they do,
Scenes from
yeah.
somebody
Yeah, buddy.
playing the game.
Exactly.
That's
All
how
right.
that's how great that movie was.
All right, so me and James it was fine, and you fucking hated it.
Man, fuck Uncharted.
Fine.
That's fine. You can have that.
Thank
you can
you.
have it.
Thank you.
So it's a no recommend unless you literally have nothing else to watch. Then you can throw it on and maybe find some enjoyment there. But otherwise,
Just skip it.
just don't worry about it. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
Maybe watch the sequel if they then don't have to give a backstory. Maybe it'll be all about the treasure hunting for once.
Yeah, well,
I
we've already
hate-
told the fucking backstory. Why
Yeah.
don't we just get to the treasure
I
hunting?
hate when we have to keep doing this. We have to get through an origin story just to watch
Yeah.
the fucking. It's just like TV shows where you're like, you gotta get through the first 17
Yeah. First-
seasons. When you get
Yeah.
to number 18, that's the winner.
That's it. That's it. That's it. So, on to our final segment before we wrap this all up. Button it up. Dave's New Blues. Do we have a show and tell today or no?
We do, but
Oh.
I'm going to change it up a bit,
Oh.
and we're going to talk about Dave's new collectibles.
Oh,
fuck.
Dave's New Collectibles. All right, what are we collecting?
Dave's new collectibles. It's not me collecting this. I will show you boys. It's not so much me collecting this as much as I needed to buy it immediately when I saw it, and I'm
Okay.
glad I did.
Okay. So, oh my God, Dave just bought hot dog fingers.
Yes, I did.
What?
Oh, yes.
fuck are
Yeah,
those?
Tony hasn't seen.
Oh yeah,
this
Tony
movie,
has no idea.
What is this?
It is a tie-in for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
They're one of the
Universes.
universes is they all have hot dog fingers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So,
these
yeah,
are
it's
these
a
are
pack
a
of-
pair of hot
Where the
dog
hell did
fingers
you find this?
on the A24 website.
It's
Oh,
a pack
shit.
of 10 fingers, so you can be one of the hot dog finger people, and just attach them all to your fingers and go.
Open it up, James. Let's see you put on the hot dog fingers.
All right, here we go. Let's. I've always wanted to be a hot dog person. Oh my god, it comes with like a whole. Oh, it's a glove. No glove, no love. Here, Dave, you can have one. All right. Dave and I are hot dog fingering. Oh, okay. This is a left hand. Ah.
What the actual fuck?
Oh my god.
I
have hot dog fingers.
I love it so much.
I'm not going to repeat what just happened right now.
I love it.
Like,
Tony, you got some ketchup and mustard?
yeah, seriously.
This
like,
is one of the best purchases I have ever made in my life.
I can't believe they made
They're sold
these.
out. They're sold out now. So
my only question: how are you supposed to masturbate?
Tony, it's a weird. It's a weird universe,
James
and
is
you
trying to figure it out
you
right
gotta
now.
You gotta watch the movie. You gotta watch the movie.
James
And
is now.
anyways, me and James were just doing the erotic stuff from the movie.
Oh well, like I wouldn't have known.
Well, maybe you need to watch the fucking movie already.
Forget about Doctor Strange. Go see this.
Go see this multiverse movie.
All right,
And don't be like, oh, I don't want to say it on the podcast. No.
Either way, I needed these immediately.
Yeah, these are amazing. I love that there's nutrition facts on the side.
Oh yeah, it's all 0%.
Yeah, it's 0%. But like, why?
Actually,
I guess because they're hot dog
to
fingers.
Tony's point, pre-tenderized, USDA recommends hot dogs for fingers. You are not unlovable. There is always something to love. Fingers may ooze condiments when engaged in love rituals.
what the actual fuck?
It's a big finger gun.
Oh, that is a big finger guns. Hot dog guns.
Hot dog guns.
This is amazing. This is I like this segment of collectibles. Well done. I'm glad you actually bought these.
Yeah, I needed
Good
them.
for you.
I needed them.
Good for you.
So, anyways, with that, I will say,
Can't get this glove off. Oh, ow.
Jesus. I will say that thanks again to Hot Docs for accrediting us.
Thank you, Hot Docs.
Unfortunately, Tony will not thank Marky Mark, but
Sorry, Marky Mark. I'll always.
I
love
hope you all enjoyed yourselves just like we did. I'm going to keep my hot dog fingers on now, but until next time, I'm Dave.
Tony.
James.
And we will see you soon.
2 weeks, everybody.
You're not vengeance.